Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be talking about the difference between a roof window and a skylight. We're going to talk about the common misconceptions about skylights and the fact that they leak, and also how we manage to accomplish egress through this unit here. So I'm here with Dave from VELUX. Dave, you guys worked with us on Ecopond here and for the 3 skylights that we have on the roof.
Yes, actually they're not skylights. This is a roof window.
What's the difference between a roof window and a skylight? I feel like I've heard that a couple times now.
It's a big difference. Roof windows are for in reach. That means you can touch them by hand. They have a handle here so the homeowner can open and close these real quickly by just unlocking the handle. Compared to a skylight that is high up out of reach, and you could open it with a pole, or we also make motorized with remote controls.
So that's really the only difference, is that whether it's in reach or not.
It is, it's correct. A roof window, you really wouldn't want this 20 feet up in the air. I mean,
No.
you'd have to set up a ladder to open it. So
Right, yeah.
really important to have it at this level right here. They do meet egress for escape exit if needed.
Well, let's talk about that. So our Ecopond project, we call it a house-shaped house. So the entire second floor is built into the roof line. So we're actually standing in one of the second floor bedrooms, and you can see that this is essentially our roof line, and we've built these 2 roof windows. And you mentioned that these meet egress. So walk me through how this unit meets egress and ultimately why we ended up with the GPU.
So to meet egress, the window has to be able to be opened without any type of tools. So you basically unlock this, push it out. It will open up to 45 degrees. Obviously, it gives you a large ventilation area where a person could get out to safety if for some reason there was a fire in the hallway. We couldn't get out of this room, need to get out through a window or a roof window.
So it's based on, and you also mentioned off camera when you got here, like you asked if the springs were loaded. Is that part of that egress mechanism?
Well, it is, because when you push this up, it'll open to 45 degrees. It will stay open. We don't need to touch this in any way. The other thing is that it can be unlocked at the top. It's really not part of the egress, but all roof windows pivot for easy cleaning. So if the glass is dirty, the homeowner can pivot this around and clean this with just Windex and paper towels.
Dave, I did not know the window did that.
It's a pretty neat product,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
I feel like this is something that everyone always asks, what do I clean the windows with? And don't use this, don't use that, you're gonna void warranty.
The best thing is just paper towels and Windex
That's
or
it.
window cleaner, yes.
Okay. So when these are locked, I saw this the other day, this popped down, and I saw that you just flip the window around with that, but what else is this for?
So first position when this is open, it's a vent flap. This could be opened all the time. It does not allow rainwater to come in, but there is movement of air. So we have air inside this room escaping. We have fresh air coming in. It's just something to move the air around the building. You know, homes are being built very tightly these days, obviously like this. You want to have some air movement so we get fresh air in the building. We exhaust germs and chemicals that are building up inside.
Yeah, typically we're doing that with mechanical ventilation through ERV, HRV, but this is giving you the opportunity in a nicer day to get that fresh air breeze coming through.
Exactly, and they can be open during rain. It's not going to leak.
Where's that air coming from?
So there's a series of filters at the top that allows air to flow in through.
So similar to maybe like a ridge vent where you're not getting
Very similar to that, yes.
Yeah, so you're not, even with driving rain, it's collecting that water and getting out of here.
That's correct. The other thing is, you notice this window here. This is a PVC liner on the inside of the product over wood. So it's a very structural product, sash and frame, but it has this PVC material. So you don't have to paint this poly, do any type of finish to it. I mean, it's a maintenance-free product.
Can I paint it?
You could paint it if you wanted to. Think of white is very popular. Most people have white ceilings.
Yeah.
White room. I mean, it blends in very nicely with that.
Typically, I understand like you would not, most of the time this works, but if I painted it, does it void warranty?
Doesn't void the warranty, but I mean, if you wanted to get a stain grade version, we offer that as well.
Oh, you do? Okay. So if I wanted something different, I could order something different.
Could order it.
This is making it as maintenance free as possible by having it in that PVC wrap.
That's correct.
So I have another, is this a skylight or is this a roof window?
So this is a SkyMax skylight.
Okay.
It's a very large curb mount version that we offer.
And even though it's within reach, it's not operable, so we're back in that skylight family, is that right?
We're back in the skylight family here. We can make these up to 35 square feet. This is a very large window here, and as we're looking out here, we get a beautiful view of this pond. This could be turned different directions if you wanted to.
When you say 35 square feet, Does that mean any dimension by any dimension? Are there limitations on that?
Up to about 10 feet.
So 10 foot, so you could go 3.5 by 10.
Yes.
Is kind of your longest point.
Longest point. We stock a 4 by 8 footer. That's a pretty big.
That's a sheet of plywood.
The sheet of plywood. It's a big skylight.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of homeowners want big skylights. They want to bring a lot of light into the house. It makes the room feel a lot more open. Creates drama to the room. And what a view we have here today.
This is everything for this home. We situated the home so we could see the pond. Vincent and his team from Possible, the architect on the project, were designing these spaces. They were essentially, how do we get that into the second floor? And there's another bedroom in the back. Doesn't have this punch out area. This is, I mean, because this is our rafter line here. So if you were to imagine that if we brought that rafter line down, you know, we wouldn't be able to stand any closer than at this point. But by adding the skylight and the roof window,
you're creating a lot more headroom here.
Yeah, you're able to walk all the way up to that glass and get that entire view of the pond. You said something interesting. So that unit can be installed in any direction. Why is that?
Well, it's a fixed skylight. It's a structural curb mount that sits on a curb. There's really no top or bottom to that.
Okay.
They can be installed on a flat roof up to a very steep pitch, as we have here.
Yep.
So we use them in commercial buildings. We also use them in residences like you see here.
Is there any difference around the glass when you're considering a flat roof or a pitched roof?
Well, on a flat roof, we'd want to use a curb-mounted skylight where there's a curb and they typically are bringing rubber roofing up it. That's the flashing. This glass right here is 1 1/16 inches. It's very thick glazing. It's 3 panes. So all skylights are tempered to the exterior. They're very strong to a blow. We could hit this with a hammer on the outside. It would not break.
Even the outside pane?
The outside pane. We could hit that. It'd probably take about 10 impacts to break it. That's how strong it is.
Should we do it?
No. The inner pane, this is very important, is laminated glass. And by code for skylights or roof windows, you have to have laminated glass. It's 2 panes brought together with a 30 mil piece of plastic between the 2 panes. Very similar to a car windshield. And we all know if you see a car in an accident, you see a crack in the glass, but it's intact. So the inner pane is not going to collapse and fall into the building if there was some type of intense impact. It's low E, it's argon. I mean, it also cuts down on UV rays. So one thing about skylights these days, they don't fade the interior of the home.
They don't.
They do not. Older doors, windows, and skylights faded the inside of your house. We've all been to a home where you pick up a braided rug on a wood floor and you see the outline of the rug. That doesn't happen anymore.
And that's because of the UV ray?
Because of the laminated film, it cuts out UV rays 99.9%.
Wow.
That's a huge benefit.
Yeah. When you think about, so that glass spec that you're mentioning, is that customizable? Like, can I change the glass performance? Is that like, when you get into ordering this, I know we worked with you guys and ultimately specifying the sizing and everything, but what about the performance of the glass itself?
So our glass is made by Cardinal. We actually make the glazing assembly. It's low E argon. I mean, our skylights are as energy efficient as the best vertical windows on the market.
Okay.
This is a standard, the tempered over laminated. We have tempered over like a white laminate, which is like an obscured view. You can also get an impact glass if it needs to meet the impact hurricane code.
Got it. When you think about the impact, what is that changing? Is that just a higher grade glass, or are they adding more lamination?
We're adding more lamination, so that PVB that is 30 mils is almost about 1/8 of an inch thick.
What's PVB?
It's a polyvinyl butyrate.
And that's that film that holds the glass together?
It is. It's a film that's between the 2 panes. You can't see it. It's invisible.
Got it.
And the strength of that with the 2 panes of glass is what makes it impact.
When you got here, I said, point out anything that you see. I could see you looking and you were like, not sure about this detail. And ultimately we have our blue board, because we plaster here in Massachusetts. It's just what we do.
Yep.
And this goes up, and you know, for us, we want panoramic glass where we can, meaning there's no frame, you don't see the frame. So we have our board coming up, and we have about, right now it's about a 1/16, and it should be probably greater than that. But you actually had said it really needs to be closer to a 1/2 inch, and I didn't understand why. Walk me through ultimately why it needs to be a 1/2 inch, and then you pointed out a detail that we basically buried.
Sure. So this SkyMax has a condensation gasket gutter right here. That's what this is. So if there is any moisture that collects from high moisture in the home, it would run down to the bottom into this gasket and weep out. So our finish here needs to be cut back about a 1/2 inch, so this is exposed. And that's just the best way to install that. I mean, it's rare that they're going to have that condensation, but if they do, it will be, the product is designed to capture that.
So that basically beads down, and right now it would hit that plaster and drip down, and our client's going to call, hey, my skylight's leaking.
They'd see a stain there and they would think there's an issue here.
And this gutter here, you said it weeps out. So in thinking about this being in every direction, there's weeps on all 4 sides?
There's weep holes. So this allows it to catch it and then allow it to escape.
How does that work in terms of, like, if we have weeps on the top, how is that not allowing water in?
There's like a rubber gasket built into that, so it actually allows it to
Like
weep.
a check valve almost?
It's kind of like that.
Okay. Why would this glass condensate? What would typically drive that?
Well, I mean, in a new home, you guys are using a lot of materials that are wet, from plaster, paint. A brand new home has a lot of moisture in it the first few months as it's drying out. So you will have probably the greatest moisture then, and that needs to escape, or it's going to collect the cold surfaces. If it's a window, a door, a skylight. As homeowners start to live here, they create moisture too from breathing, taking showers, cooking. You may have a humidifier that you use in the winter time. So there's always a thought of controlling that additional moisture and condensation.
And just getting it out of here and off your finished surfaces.
That's correct.
I think about that a lot, where when we're building, you know, we're always trying to manage. I mean, water is just a huge issue in general. And I think about from a mechanical perspective, you have condensation mechanical systems, you have condensate pumps, and those pumps, you know, collect the condensate and we discharge them. And I think about constantly how do we eliminate that pump? Because frankly, that pump is what fails first. And then all of a sudden there's a leak in the mechanical room. Our client's like, my mechanical equipment's leaking, like this is a big issue. It's like, no, the filter got clogged, we'll change the filter, it's not a big deal. But to your point, you guys have kind of thought of that where, you know, rather than it hitting the plaster or coming on the inside or even seeing it, you know, it's immediately discharging that and getting it out of the house. So, you know, being that it's being handled within the unit, at least for me, like, builds that confidence that, oh, this is supposed to happen.
And all our skylights and roof windows have a condensation system built into the design of the product. Even the one behind you here has
This one does as well.
Yes, so you can see there's a little gap right here. So any moisture here would go right into there and that would escape.
Got it. Now, what about the glass on this one?
This is tempered over laminated as well.
It's the same as the SkyMax?
Slightly different than this, but it's very close.
Got it.
There's 3 panes of glass.
3 panes of glass. Is that standard on every?
It's standard on all VELUX.
All VELUX.
Skylights and roof windows is the tempered over laminated, which is the code, by the way. Building code wants laminated that way. There's no chance of the glass breaking on the inside and falling into the building.
And that's different from a traditional wall window because it's not suspended overhead. Is that?
It is. Other windows in a home that have to be tempered would be a shower door, a storm, a slider. Mm-hmm. Okay, where normal vertical windows are Neil glass. So, you know, old Neil glass or Neil glass, if you threw a rock at it, you'd have a big hole with jagged edges.
Yeah, right.
This, it would bounce off it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, laminate glass, you know, we've done quite a bit of projects with laminated glass and with tempered glass, but tempered, you know, essentially would shatter into a million little pieces, where tempered, you know, as you were saying, it ultimately breaks and is held together with that film in between, similar to a car windshield. And you have both here. It's tempered on the outside, laminated on the inside.
Laminated on the inside, yes.
Let's talk about install. We worked with you guys really closely on the technical side. We have a unique situation here. We have built-up exterior insulation. We also have a mega shingle on the outside, which you said you've never seen, and that makes me happy. But it's just a unique situation. So walk me through what the important steps are when you're installing, whether it's a roof window or a skylight for you guys.
So in 2010, VELUX actually changed our installation method. We retooled the plant. We took ideas from the trade. We had focus groups, and we came out with our watertight installation. It's actually 3 layers of protection on the exterior. So getting away from L brackets on a skylight, we have a nailing fin we call the deck seal. It's a metal bracket that's nailed to the skylight. It then lays on the deck and you nail it all the way around on all 4 sides with a ring shank nail. Then it's wrapped with a peel and stick membrane, like a ice and water material. Mm-hmm. And then you have your step flashing kit. It's an aluminum sill, step tins, and head. This has been used for years. I mean, it's a foolproof method. There's no sealants used. It's a dry installation. You end up with 3 layers of protection.
So I'm going to stop you real quick. 3 layers of protection, step flashing, the peel and stick. Where's the third?
The deck seal, that
Deck
metal
seal.
bracket.
That metal bracket. Is there a gasket under it?
There's a rubber gasket on that. So when that is nailed into the roof deck, it's a very tight positive connection to the plywood, and it's actually our first layer. Water will run away from it.
So when you say no sealants are used, is it recommended as a fourth step, or is
No,
it
not at all.
Don't use it.
Sealants are going to dry up and crack over time. They actually can cause dams to divert water different ways.
Oh,
I mean, we've made it so foolproof. Even the first time skylight installer pulling our product out of the carton can install our product trouble-free.
Why is there this misconception that skylights leak? I have a friend of mine who's a builder. He toured this project a couple weeks ago. He goes, there's two things I'll never do. I'll never put a window in a shower, and I'll never put a skylight in. And I was like, why? And he goes, well, the skylights leak and windows in the shower just sound like a bad idea. I'm like, well, you've never done it and on the shower, and the skylights, we install them constantly. And frankly, for us at this point, you know, regardless of who we're working with, we're always encouraging it, because I mean, this room would be pretty bland without a skylight, or in this case, a roof window. But what has led to this understanding that they leak, and or what are the mistakes that are being
So
made?
skylights became very popular late 70s, 80s, especially in New England. Architects love the idea of bringing daylight deeper into the home. Best way to daylight a home, a building, is a combination of skylights, roof windows, or vertical windows. Skylights took off in the 80s, and VELUX had been here in the US since 1975. A lot of other companies saw what we were doing and got into the business. So we had 20 or 30 different skylight manufacturers making products. Now, not all of them were very good products. They were not the best, but people were putting them in. So unfortunately, we have a lot of inferior products that are on the market that give the skylight idea a bad name. They're one of the best windows to have in your house. I think a lot of homeowners do want the idea of more space, openness, and the feeling of seeing the outdoors. So our product, you have no problems with it. As I explained, the 3 layers of protection. And by the way, we back that up with a 10-year warranty on water penetration on labor and the product.
What does that mean?
So if there was an issue with the product, we have our own service team that would come out. They do a site visit. They determine the problem. If it was the skylight and it needed to be replaced, we would provide a new product, and we would pay a contractor to reinstall it. So there's no out-of-pocket cost to the end user. VELUX is covering the product and the labor. And by the way, there's not too many manufacturers that cover labor.
Yeah, I mean, labor is typically what people write off. Something is going to void the warranty. And they're like, yeah, but the warranty means nothing because I'll get the product and I still have to install it. I mean, that's something that we hear a lot from clients is, well, who's paying to replace it? God forbid we had a skylight failure and like you weren't covering it. It'd be like, well, VELUX, like we installed it exactly as you told us. But you're coming to us saying, hey, we get that. We pay for that. And we want this to survive. It's interesting that you said that there was 20, 30 skylight manufacturers, because I know of maybe 3.
Okay.
And we work with you guys a lot. That's our primary, skylight manufacturer for what we're doing. And to think that there's, another 27 of them, I can only imagine that the product is probably not great if we don't know them.
Well, they were. I mean, really, at this point, VELUX is the last national skylight manufacturer. We're sold all over the world. I mean, this is very important to us. This is what we do. We bring daylight in and fresh air into homes. VELUX, VE is short for ventilation. Lux is daylight in your house.
Got it.
That's what you get when you get our product installed in your home.
When you come to a project like this, what are the things that you're going to be looking for, especially in a situation where we're basically done? You caught the condensation channel, which is great. We're going to pull that board off and replace it. But what are the things that you're going to be paying attention to that, you want to make sure are done right? Are they on the inside or are they on the outside?
Well, it would be both, Nick. I mean, we obviously want to see the product finished properly on the inside. You guys are doing a really good job here. This is what the homeowner is going to see every day when they're living in this space. On the outside, obviously having it installed properly, but the homeowner is not going to be looking at that all the time. I mean, this is really the most important view for them. So making sure that the finish is butted up to the skylight properly. We have a groove that accepts the sheetrock right into it, so it's a real easy finish. Very professional look to it, and being maintenance free also.
Especially with the PVC.
With the PVC.
Let's go on the outside, because I want to show you how we're essentially interacting the skylight roof window with the mega shingle.
Excellent, let's do it.
So Dave, before you turn around, I'm going to tell you that what you're going to see is a little bit more abnormal And to you watching, typically you're seeing this on a shingle, an asphalt shingle, cedar shingle, but we have these mega shingles. We have the 2 roof windows that we were looking at, the operable, and then we have our SkyMax in the middle. From your sake, you're looking at this as how is it intercepting with you know, the water infiltration. This is actually, I would consider this to be our 4th layer, because our waterproof layer is actually about 7 inches below where we are at this point.
Okay.
We built curbs. We actually worked with VELUX to make sure that we detailed that curb correctly and got all of that waterproofing. You have your step flashing, but it's only shown here on the 2 shingles.
Well, the one thing I like to see here is that everything is overlapping, and that's the key with our flashing kit, just like a shingle roof, is that we have multiple layers of overlapping, so we're just shedding water down the roof and off and away from the roof and the skylights.
We have our step flashing on the left here. I know this is a unique situation with our mega shingle, but why don't we have the similar step flashing detail on the SkyMax?
Well, the SkyMax is a curb mount, so you guys have constructed a curb there, and you flash the curb. At that point, the skylight sits over top of it like a cover.
Got it.
It's going over your curb that you flashed in, and then it screws in on the side.
Yep.
And it's a done deal.
Why not do the roof window the same way?
Roof windows are going to be more on shingle roofs, asphalt or wood. That's just really, for a slope roof, the best way to flash them.
Got it. Oh, right, because that's also designed for a flat roof.
That is. So the SkyMax can be used on flat roofs up to steep pitches here. It's a different installation in that fact compared to our skylights and roof windows.
Last question I have is, we have these big pieces of glass. They overlook the pond. It's beautiful. But there's days that I'm going to want to, I don't live here, but someone might want to sleep in. You mentioned that you guys are launching a shade program.
So actually VELUX launched the Skylight system April this year.
April 2025.
We did. So all our deck mount and curb mount skylights come standard with a motorized solar powered energy performance shade.
Okay.
It's remote control.
Okay.
It's battery operated. There's no wires. We don't need electrician. So they come already installed on the skylight from the factory. So every homeowner is going to have a shade on their skylight. So when you think about a shade, well, what does it do? I think we all know that it blocks light. Mm-hmm. But, and it does that, but more importantly, it makes it more energy efficient. It creates that second layer, preventing heat from escaping in the winter and heat gain in the summer. So that person that does want to sleep in, they can pull the shade down and cut out the light.
Sure.
But if they pull their shades down every night in the winter, they're going to be more energy efficient in that house. And that room could be 5 degrees warmer if someone that has 2 or 3 skylights in that room.
Leaving them open.
So it's not just about controlling light, it's about being more energy efficient.
Sure. I'm thinking about my first house with my wife, and we had a newborn, and we had a skylight that sat above the crib and did not have shades, and I had to rig something up to block the light to let the baby sleep in every morning.
Yeah, so these are room darkening shades, so they block out all the light. It'd be perfect for afternoon nap if it's a baby or young children, or you want to sleep in on a Saturday morning, or if you do want to have more light in, you can bring it down a quarter of the way, 3/4, halfway, whatever you want, to control how much light coming in.
Do they offer screens for a roof window like that?
We do have screens for roof windows.
You do?
It's an accessory that's added on after the fact.
Okay. Does that change the way they operate or anything?
It's a screen that mounts on the ceiling.
Okay.
It's a roll screen. It comes in like a canister that's at the top of the product.
So you'd open that and then pull your screen down.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. That's super helpful. Awesome. I appreciate you coming out.
All right, Nick. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Guys, if you want to have any more questions on either the skylights or the roof windows, leave them in the comments below. As always, we appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.